Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another episode of the ABJ Podcast, episode 91. We are creeping in on that 100. Very excited. The way it's looking is we will hit 100 by the end of this season. Maybe even a couple bonus episodes will be thrown in there. So I know we've been doing it every Thursday from here till every week, but also we might be sneaking a couple bonus episodes in there for you as well. So maybe we'll drop one on a Friday or a Saturday during the week. So be on the lookout for that, because there's some names that came into the list of people who want to get interviewed that I couldn't pass up and wait till next year. So I wanted to get them in right away. So it's looking like we're up to 10. It might end around 102, 103, depending. So a lot of cool stuff coming up. Also, if you want to support the podcast, Patreon. Cheapest I can make it is $1. If you join in for $1, you could do $5, you could do $20, you could do $316. Whatever you are, if you're a baller, go for it. But it is early access, so you can see this episode's live on a Monday in the Discord for free. You can watch the videos and check them out, or you can wait till Thursday and they come out for everybody. But it is a way to support the podcast, keep the lights on, keep things like StreamYard paid for, which we're using here today, which is very helpful. Clips have been doing really well. Thank you for everyone who's been sharing and liking the clips that are out there. We did start an ABJ Street Team, so if you'd like to be part of the Street Team, head over to our Discord server or shoot me a message and say, hey, I'd like to be part of the Street Team, and we'll get you involved. We're giving little giveaway packages for early members, so if you join early, you get a custom T-shirt that no one else is going to get. So jump on that while you can. I just realized my booby stress ball was hiding out in the corner there, so you can rewind it if you want to see it. It's a stress ball. It looks like a boob. But anyway, so check that out. We also have merch and T-shirts available if you want to check that out. The link's below. Tons of cool merchandise out there. And we will be doing monthly rotation of shirts. So I'm not going to put everything out right away because we have over – I would say at this point in time, close to 200, maybe 300 logos between Haley doing an amazing job for us, Hunter, Dylan, who's been killing it, as well as Lily, which Crafts by Lily, been killing a bunch of logos. So they will be rotating. If there's one people really like, I'll keep it out there, but it comes down to demand if people want it. So a lot of stuff going on there. Thank you to our sponsor, Suplex Vintage Wrestling, for keeping the lights on and always doing great with the sponsorship and helping us grow here. Guys, it has finally happened. A full school store fully dedicated to vintage wrestling. They say it can never be done, but I've seen it with my own eyes. Suplex Vintage Wrestling is a store curated by wrestling fans for wrestling fans. Located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in South Street, in the heart of Queen Village, their shop features the largest collection of vintage wrestling apparel under one roof. Their selection features classic designs featuring your favorite wrestlers from the Golden Age, Attitude Era, Internationals, Indies, and more. And if you're tired of watching premium live events at home, SVW hosts the best watch party since your friend Kyle's birthday party when you were 12. And if shirts and watch parties aren't your thing, let's not forget about their selection of figures, replica belts, and trading cards. From their t-shirts and hats to rare wrestling memorabilia, they have something for every wrestling enthusiast out there. So what are you waiting for? Check them out at suplex.svw on Instagram or suplex.svw.com. and let them satisfy your pro wrestling needs. They've been doing a lot of meet and greets as well, too, so always check out that place on all social media. They're doing a lot of fun things, and maybe we'll be doing a lot more partnering with them in the future, so keep an eye on that. They do a lot to help me out, so even if you go over, follow them on Instagram and say, hey, I started following you because ABJ, leave in the comments. That'll help me out a lot. Let them know that you guys are coming from this channel. That does wonders. So without further ado, let me bring in my guest for this evening. All his links are listed below as well, so please support him in his very early journey in the business here. Training, I won't be wrong, I believe the Worldwide Dojo currently, doing a lot of work over there. He's been coming to the Sanctuary a lot, been killing the game over there, been very fun to meet and get to know, but I get to know him a little better here now on the podcast. Let's bring in Troy Locke. What's going on, bud?
Bro, this is so official, dude. You got like ads going, you got a Patreon, you got the whole thing. A question for you. Does that place have Ico Pro banners?
It might. I'm not sure. They have everything. It is packed.
I got to get an Ico Pro banner.
If not, I'm sure we can find one online. I'm sure someone makes them.
I hope so. That's like my favorite thing about like watching like new gen stuff is all the Ico Pro banners everywhere. It rules so much.
That would actually be a good logo, an Ico Pro banner like ripoff, like a spoof.
Oh yeah. My Twitter handle used to be Mr. Ico Pro.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Man, thank you so much for doing this. I'm super excited. Very early in your journey here, right?
Yeah. I've been training for about 2 years, and then I've been wrestling for about wrestling shows for about a little under a year and a half, actually.
Yeah. There's one thing that stands out for you. As soon as people see you, as soon as you hit the curtain, besides the crazy facial expressions, it's the mullet. You got.
Oh, of course.
A lot of people right now are trying to do the mullet game. There's a lot of competition out there. You got Matt Quay. Matt Quay's got himself a mullet.
I love Matt Quay.
Yeah, there's a lot of good mullets. Who do you think right now is in competition with you in the mullet game?
Matt Quay's a good one. I think obviously Speedball. Speedball has like the clean cut mullet. Like
it looks professional.
He hasn't ventured out. Yeah, he hasn't ventured out into the dirty mullet game yet, but here's the hoping. Are they called the Outrunners? Turbo Floyd, and they're on ROH sometimes in AEW. They got cool mullets too. They rule.
Would you say Aussie Open? The one guy from Ziggy Dice has a great mullet. Aussie Open, the one guy has a mullet, right? The one guy from Aussie Open.
Yeah, not Kyle Fletcher, but the bigger guy. Yeah, they're also so awesome.
So, obviously you're still in that age where this isn't paying the bills, right? So you still have to go and live your day-to-day life. How is it being in a day-to-day where you're not in character and you're not in your wrestling persona? And you got to walk around with this hairstyle choice.
So I always tie up the back, and at work I can wear hats. So like it's very keep it very low key, especially like when it's a little colder out. I have a hoodie. I have it like over the bun, over the tail. So like it's kind of low key, but I don't know. My job doesn't care too much. All my coworkers know that like I wrestle and stuff, so they already know. They already know what it is.
How did you know? I love how we're starting this interview with mullet questions. This wasn't part of the plan. I swear to God, it just came in. What made you lean to that? Like you're like, all right, I'm gonna get my look. I'm gonna do what I want to do here. I'm going mullet.
So I'm like I was saying before, like I'm really big into new gen, like early '90s, and like all those guys had really good mullets. But actually, the reason I have it is because of Mike Awesome.
Okay.
Because I'm a like big ECW guy. Like that's like how I got into wrestling, was like watching old ECW tapes.
Awesome. Well, let's lean into that. So what's your earliest memory of being a pro wrestling fan? And like you said, early ECW, was that your first memory where like first time you've ever seen it? That's what it was? Or how did you get into it?
So I actually found out because I have an older brother. So my brother got me into wrestling, and he was big in the like Attitude Era.
What's the age gap?
So it's 12 years. So it's pretty decent.
You know what's funny? Just as you said, I have an older brother. The way you said it, when you're part of this, you can sense it. I feel so. Me and my little brother are 11 years apart, and when there's a huge age gap between siblings or family, or like if you've experienced it, you get it. And now I see it in your personality. There's just a difference when there's somebody who have a huge age gap between their siblings. Like I just feel it makes you a different person because it's almost like you had. I don't know if it were your situation, but it's almost like you had another parent growing up. Like it wasn't just a brother. Like it was like, like you rather your parents find out about certain things before your older brother, right?
For sure. Yeah. Me and my brother are really close though. Like he got me into wrestling, and like, we see each other every day, and he's super supportive with the wrestling. Like he comes to almost every single show that's in Jersey. So it's shout out to him.
You got to bring him to the sanctuary.
Dude,
I know it's a further drive, but it's an experience.
I know. He goes crazy. He watches the live streams and stuff. He's super into it. He loves all like the pictures and the production of the sanctuary and all that. He loved you and Hawthorne's commentary on me and Andre's match.
Yeah, the first Fridays with Hawthorne jumping in is a lot of fun. He actually joined us on the last Sunday show, which was a good time. Man, if you would have came, I know it's past due, so it's. Man, you would have gotten a match if you would have been able to come on that Sunday.
Oh yeah. I want to get out there more. I think I will next month because I'm not able to make the first Friday show of next month, but I definitely want to get over there.
So we had everything situated, and then we had someone who wasn't unable to work, so we had to move things around. And I'll tell you off camera who I would have put you in there. I would have petitioned for you to work, but it would have been a good one, a real good one.
Yeah, there are a few heads over there that I want to work one-on-one. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It would have been a good submission match. We'll just say that.
Ooh.
Yeah. But yeah, so your brother got you into it, and that was your first early. Was it the ECW side of things?
My first memory actually is the John Cena versus Edge feud.
Okay.
That's like the first time I ever watched wrestling like live on TV. But like as I got like really into it, that's when like I started watching like all the old ECW tapes. I don't know, because I always just like I loved like I'm very big into like punk music and like, you know, counterculture and stuff like that. So like even back then as a kid, like seeing how ECW was ran, I was just like, oh, this is wrestling,
DIY.
but so much cooler. Yeah.
Yeah, that's DIY wrestling. Yeah, especially when you go back and you learn behind the scenes, it was just like dudes in a basement with a curtain that just said ECW. Like behind the scenes interviews were in a basement. Like not like just so the imagination that people don't realize what goes into a promo or where things are recorded or how things are done, and you're like, man, that must have been crazy production. You're like, no, if you were there, it was very DIY. We just make it look nice. But yeah, so who are some names that you attached yourself to growing up that you're like, oh, I really, really enjoy this as a worker?
So this isn't just ECW, but like my two favorite wrestlers as a kid, and they're still two of my favorite wrestlers to this day, were Taz and Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is the very obvious one, I feel, because my gear looks just like his, obviously, because
the high-waisted shorts.
Yeah, high-waisted, cut. One side's black, one side's, colored. And I don't know, just those two guys, just their style, their attitude, it just, it's just very, very entranced with them, like almost immediately.
Yeah, Joe's very good. His run he's been doing now here on AEW has been fantastic. I got watching him in Wembley was a treat. Him and Punk killed it in Wembley. That was fun to see live.
When he hit the swing on Punk into the table and then flipped him off, I was just like, this is wrestling. Like, dude, it popped me so big. I was like, this is so awesome.
Punk caught him with the walk away, and then he returned it back by walking away, and then he finally got him back. So good. Such a good storytelling. And then they did all of like homages to their ROH days. Then they did homages to their WWE days with some of the moves they hit and some of the like rivalries of like people who were like where he did the John Cena bit. Like they literally told a story of their transitions from their indie days to the ROH days to their WWE days, and now being in AEW. It was so good to see all of that being done without even a word being said. As a wrestler, how you guys can tell that story by just using moves is really fun. How you can put that together, and I think they did an amazing job structuring that match.
That match like meant so much to me, not only as like a Punk fan or like a Joe fan, but just like I don't know, knowing like their story, and like that match was in front of like 80,000 people live, and it's like
79, 78, something around there.
Something like that.
Fudge numbers. Poor Will Ospreay's got a tattoo for life now.
But like back when they like first wrestled, they wrestled in front of like 150, 200 people. And it's like, it just made me like connect with them so much. Cause it's like off into the distant future, I'm going to be wrestling like one of my friends in front of 80,000 people. That's what like, it like just gripped me so hard. I'm like, damn, like this is like, we don't even know that like some of like the times that we look back on or the times that we're living now are going to be like something that we pay homages to in the future. It's just like a very cool full circle thing.
Yeah, you never know where you're going to be in the next 10, 15 years. I mean, look at like Joe. It took Joe and Punk the time. Like you're saying, there's a long journey, and people don't even realize the journey they do before they hit the TV because of their independent. Like no one follows a lot of people on the independent scene, which is changing because I think more people are becoming aware of the independent wrestling, which I think is good, and why platforms like this and other amazing ones out there who showcase independent wrestling have that do that for them. So growing up, sports wise, what kind of kid were you in school? I know it's like 16 minutes ago. You're still so young talking about high school, but
so I was not very athletic at all. I was like very overweight my entire life. So like I was very into like I don't know, like RPG video games and like big into wrestling, like watching it, and like I don't know, just was not it's funny because every time someone asks me like or someone sees me wrestle, they ask me if I like wrestled amateur, and I just laugh because like it couldn't be further from the truth. Like I was just so inactive, like pretty much
it's
my
funny you
entire
say
life.
that because you hit a submission at the Sanctuary. I think it's your new finisher, right? Like the bridged version.
It's the angel wings into the cattle mutilation. Yeah.
Yeah, and it perked Trotsky's ears up a little bit. He was like, "That's a good submit," and like the way he added to it. Another thing too is like how you're saying you didn't really play sport. Were you a theater kid or all? Did you ever do that?
No. I was very low key, very low key.
That's crazy personality wise. So another thing that I think makes you really stand out as a wrestler is your facial expressions. Where do you pull that from? If you were someone who was so reserved and quiet and just sat and played video games and watched wrestling, how did you come out of your comfort zone and become that when you hit the curtain?
So the character that like I've been doing for a while, like this very intense, like kind of like pseudo demonic, I guess. He is like based off of like Guts from Berserk.
Okay.
Do you know the anime Berserk?
I've heard of it. I don't watch it, but I like we're like almost where it's like it's an unrealistic angry character. Like it just like how is someone always just that angry? Like always pissed, always angry. Yeah.
Well, like his thing is like he has to go into like this. It's called the Berserker form, and he like becomes this like roaring beast, and like he can kill like demons and stuff, and like I don't know, he's just awesome. I love that anime. I love the manga, so like that's like where I pull like very heavy inspiration from, but also just like I don't know, I live the edgy side character in anime, like that's where I fall into the trope. Like I'm always like the edgy friend with the pro tag, so I just that's basically where the character is like based off of.
How are you able to break down your comfort zone to go out there? And it's one thing to be it, but to execute it and just because a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I'm going to do this," like they're afraid to kind of drop that barrier and come out of their like and act silly or act a certain way. Like was that ever a difficulty for you, or just did it come naturally?
So. Do you know who? I think his name is Kara Noir.
I'm not sure. No.
He wrestles for Progress. He had a really cool feud with Spike Trivet over in Progress. Okay. But he is very like his matches are more like more of like an art showcase almost. He's very like avant-garde and like the way he wrestles, the way he like carries himself, and it like. I don't know. It just like speaks to me in a way where it's just like wrestling doesn't have to necessarily be this, interacting with the crowd like as a person. More of like you're on display as like an art showcase. Mm-hmm. And like the character is just like someone that you look at in horror. So like
yeah.
I don't know. It just watching him do like wrestling and like portray his character in such a way, like it just made me want to be like, okay, this is the wrestler that I would want to watch. Where it's just like
how much do you put your space like you put you in that Like, how deep does the character run for you? Because like, it's one thing to play a character when you're in the ring, right? But
Sure.
like, you are like, I don't ever see you break that character from the second you hit the curtain to the second you go back through. Like, even the way you react to a submission, the way you react to a bump, the way you react to even anything. There's people, you can see when someone's playing a character and then they become a bump or they take a move, and it's not something that their character is giving, but more or less they're taking. And you can see almost like that switch where you can see the real person come out of the character of how they sell, or the way they sell a bump. Like, it never really changes for you. Like, when I watch you, like you're that person from the second you come into the second come out. Like, how do you get yourself in that headspace? How do you separate the two?
So my preacher trainer, my trainer preacher, like, is very big on like selling, and very big on your facial expressions and stuff like that. So like, as I have been training with him like almost the entire time I've been wrestling, he just like hones on that a lot. And it just like changing your thinking face into a face that you already do as the character is like something that I found to be very very important and very like crucial to like the because you don't want to let like the fans in behind the scenes, like that you're like thinking about something, in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And also just comes with like a lot of reps, just being in character for like training and stuff, which I sometimes like during drills and stuff, like just being in character and drills like always helps a lot.
That's gonna honestly, man. Like I said, you're very still fresh and you're new and you haven't been at it insanely long. For you to have that aspect down is important, because that's usually where people struggle. People have a hard time finding the character. It's a lot of people are like, oh, it's just me turned to 11, or it's a version of me, but I'm not really sure what it is. But I'm a really good wrestler, and you can be an amazing wrestler. But if you can't capture that character, or your character's not believable, or your character doesn't fit our match, that's where that's the difference between a level, like hitting a different level in this business. And your wrestling's already good. And no disrespect or anything, but like, you're still undersized and you're still very young. Like, you're going to be that person, I think, that when you start beefing up and maturing, where your metabolism slows down and you can start packing on the muscle. Because you said too, you had like a weight loss transition, so you lost a bunch of weight. Your metabolism, your body is still young, that it's going to try to refine itself to learn to pack the muscle on and not try to burn everything off. Like, all that's going to come with your age and the longevity. But you have that character side down and that mindset of how to keep that character alive. Like, I think just from my opinion, I've watched you wrestle a few times. Like, I remember your finisher, the cattle mutilation with the angel wings, but everything about you, every photo I've ever seen of you, every video, anything in ring, it's always been the face. And I think the facial expressions is really what makes you stand out and what makes you really special right now in your career. So your trainer, thumbs up, and you for executing it, thumbs up as well, because that's what's making you stand out right now. Every photo you put out, it's you screaming, it's you just losing your shit, and that's good. Like, if that's what you're being known for, you're nailing it.
Yeah. It's all about the presentation, I guess. Presentation of the character, which is, and like, super important. For how short you are into it, man. Like I said, that presentation thing is something that a lot of people have a hard time. There's people who are on TV right now that have a hard time with the presentation. Like, I love Ricochet. I think Ricochet's one of the best in the world. But right now, like, Ricochet's known for just being the flyer. But besides his ability, like, it's like, what else is Ricochet? You know what I'm saying? And that's a top-level guy. Sure. Yeah. When they first brought back the LWO, I thought that he was going to become Puma, like Prince Puma from Lucha Underground. I was like, yo, let's go. But they never pulled the trigger on that, which is a shame, because I feel like he could have been used way more on television, like with that gimmick. Not
the first time he wore a mask, though, Prince Puma.
Really?
He was in Chikara. He was Helico.
Interesting.
You can go back and watch old matches of him versus Lince Dorado, and they're both under masks, just going crazy.
That's sick.
Yeah. I know it ended really bad, but that Chikara stuff had some gems in it, especially people you watch on TV today, just putting early independent work in.
It's cool because like a lot of people I train with at the dojo like are former Chikara
Yeah.
people, so it's very cool to like see how they were like taught how to do things. It's very very interesting, very like different from how um their like skills and their like repertoire is very different from like what I've learned personally. So or like what I try to pick up. So it's cool.
Yeah. Well, that's a great segue. I love that. Look,
Sure.
you're a good guest. I'm into this.
Thanks,
So
man.
how did you go from the fan to I want to do this? How did you and what was your deciding factor? And then how did you find your school?
So I moved back to Jersey. I was living out in California, like when the pandemic happened, and then like I lost a ton of weight because I was like, my whole like routine just totally was gone, and I was just like, I don't have anything to do. I might as well just like, I don't know, figure out what the next step is, and then I was just like, I'll just try to be a professional wrestler. Like I always loved it, and like just try to find some purpose in my life, and lost like a bunch of weight, put on a bunch of muscle, and then just went back to Jersey, and then just started. I started training. Met Preach, and then he led me to start training at H2O under Mike Quest. And
Another
then
good school.
when
Have a little bit of connection issues here. Hold on, see if we'll let him catch up here. Troy, can you hear us? All right. Well, while he's maybe loading or
good.
disconnecting. We can hear you now. Yeah. The last thing you said is H2O.
Cool. Oh yeah. I was training at H2O under Mike Quest. And then when that school like shut down, I picked back up with Preacher at the dojo back in January. So I've been training with Preach full time again, and under world famous Cheeseburger since January.
What a school, man. That's another one I tell people. Right now that OVW is getting really popular, Monster Factory has a nice little segment going on about the wrestling schools, and people are like really like, man, that's a really cool documentary. I'm like, there's so many more out there. If that's the angle they want to start making content when it comes to pro wrestling, get cameras in the dojo, because I didn't realize it my first time going in until my buddy BP gave me the elbow. Was like, you know where you're at right now? I was like, we're in Cheeseburger School. He goes, no, this building's the old ROH dojo. Like that office that you were just in, that was Punk's office. Like Daniel Bryan, like the who's who of professional wrestling was in this building. Like I was like, are you kidding? Like, yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. When you first went in, was that something you were aware of, or was that something you learned later on?
So I had gone there about a year prior for a Drew Gulak seminar. And I knew it was like the ROH dojo then. Like I found that out, and then I started, training there and all that. Like pretty much almost a year to the day, and been there ever since. But like just the talent, like from every iteration of the dojo, has been crazy.
It's insane. It's insane. Like that. Like that's why I say when people are looking for a school, that's one of the top ones on the list. Where I say if you're in the New Jersey, New York area, create a pro, create a wrestler. Amazing. You got H2O down there. You got all these great schools. But if you're in the Pennsylvania and you're looking for something, and you're on that cusp of Jersey, Pennsylvania, possibly New York, you want to make the drive, the Worldwide Dojo is a place to be, because, like I said, like the people who come through, and just CB is just a good human. So people respect him and love what he does.
Absolutely.
And the names he brings into the school to work with you guys is like, some of the people who come in aren't even always advertised. Like you could just, like I was told, like you could just be there, and one day someone walks in the door and you're like, what the hell is happening? You know what I mean? Like it's a special place. The squat rack that's broken that you're not allowed to use. You know how it got broke?
I heard it was Cesaro who broke it.
Yeah,
I don't know how
Claudio
true that rumor is.
At 100%.
That's pretty awesome.
So when I was there was a Matt Turner in the business. He's part of Blue and Gold. He has a wrestling podcast, the Stardom Cast. and he trained there under Punk. He was in Punk's class, and it was broke, I think, then. And they're like, well, how did it break? And they said Claudio was doing a promo, and he put all the weights in the gym on the squat rack, and when he went to re-rack it, it snapped, and it's been broke ever since, and they just left it there.
Crazy.
Yeah. So you look over the thing, you're like, broke, do not use, and you're like, that's been broken that long from Claudio. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So when you go to the Worldwide Dojo and you get to work with Cheeseburger and all your other things and the students that are there and some of the names that come in, what are some things that stand out that you would say, like, why someone should go to that school? I mean, we're putting it over, but you're there all the time. You're running the ropes, putting the work in. What makes that place special?
So it's not only like the work that like goes in like in the ring. It's just like the atmosphere, like it's a very like team first mentality there. Very welcoming to like everyone, and like this is coming from someone who did not start there. So like I'm a transplant student, if you will, and like
yeah,
I have never felt more welcome and more like wanted than when I'm there. Like I never have to worry about like, you know, stepping on anyone's toes or anything like that. Like when you go in there, you put in the work, and then you just, you know, you're with all your buddies, and I just, you know, that whole, I don't know, I'm like gushing over everyone, but I really do love that school, and I really love everyone there. And yeah, I just like, they're all my friends now, dude. Like, it's just so sick, like being there all the time.
Yeah. Listen, I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of the students from this class, so the people who are there now on the podcast. Harleen, I mean, he's not really a student as much as he's been there for a little bit. He's been training for a while. Dylan Mesh,
yeah,
you know, like Junie, and the list goes on. I mean, like, there's a lot of good people coming. Journey's going to be on. A lot of good names, you know what I mean? Just coming out of that school, and just it's good. That's their commercial, man. If you want to become a professional wrestler, a referee. We need refs. Listen, if you're like, I don't want to be a wrestler, but I want to be involved. If referee ever crossed your brain, we need good refs. It is hard to find good refs in this business. And it'll save your body a little bit. I'm not saying it's an easy job, because refs work their ass off too, but that is something right now. If you're a good ref and you stand out, you're going to get paid. You're going to get work, because we need them. We need good refs.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some people that have come in through the school that you have got to rub elbows with, that may have been to a higher level or an elite level, we'll say, that you've learned a lot from?
I don't know if it's necessarily...
You got to roll around with Drew Gulak a little bit. Is there any other names that have come through the school that you've got to work with, or you got to sit through for a seminar, or just get to pick their brain?
I actually did actually met Gabe Sapolsky there, which was really cool. I'm trying to think, is there anyone that's like been to like the top level? I don't know. There's a lot of like high level indie guys that like come in and stuff like that. And like, even those guys, like, who are in like, cause there's tiers to this. So like, you know, I've only been in a year. So like, it's someone who's been in like 6-7 years, I always try to like pick their brain, try to figure out what the next step for me could be. But I don't think that like I've actually like gotten to do like a big seminar, like, other than that Drew Gulak one.
Yeah. I thought, wasn't Wheeler there not too long ago? He kind of came through.
Yeah, I didn't do that one though. I wasn't there for that.
That's a bummer. That would have for your style, man. Wheeler would be someone that'd be a really good brain to pick. Yeah.
I just love the whole Blackpool Combat Club. I love their gimmick is just guys who beat ass for real. That is so sick.
I love how people are like, well, who's the heel? Are they heels? I'm like, no, they're just badasses.
They're just a roaming band of guys who kick ass. Like they rule. They're like the Ronin. They just like run around.
Yeah, that's so cool. So cool. So from your training to your first match, do you remember your first match? What were your nerves like? What type of match was it? And how was that first experience?
So I was training with Preach, like, through Titan Championship Wrestling, and then someone pulled out and I was like the only one that could fill in, I think. And I was just like, yeah, I'll do it. And I wrestled Frankie Picard.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
Yeah, in May of, it had to be 2022. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I took a DVD on the floor. You believe that? That's like that's my favorite story. Just like when someone's like, "Oh yeah, like I don't like to take dumb bumps or anything like that." And it's like, yeah, I can't really relate to that at all.
Yeah.
Took a DVD on like a cement floor.
Did you and Frankie show up your first time together at the Sanctuary too?
No. I actually haven't seen Frankie in a long time.
Oh, then maybe you miss each other by a week, because I thought like the same week you were there for your first time Frankie was, but maybe it was a week after. Like Frankie just started coming to the Sanctuary.
Yeah, I saw it. He wrestled Precious not long ago.
Yeah, I thought maybe you guys were there at the same time.
Yeah,
it's funny that was your first match, and then like you guys can reconnect that years, like, you know what I mean? Like run that back with a little more experience. It's things I put in my brain.
I was so nervous about strikes because I was so like not I don't know what the word is, like not that I was not
potato.
Yeah, and now it's just like whatever. No.
If one lands, it lands. They'll get me back.
Yeah, like I don't know, like I'm not so scared to throw strikes anymore. Like but also that fear of doing that, or like that fear of like strikes, made me want to be like a better grappler, better technician.
Yeah.
Which like kind of like basically laid out the ground where like that fear of like actually hitting someone for real and being scared to do that, like, just changed my whole trajectory as a wrestler. Now, like I'm very big on grappling, very big on like English chain.
Have you ever been like growing up or going to school, like actually in a fight or legit punched in the face, or had any of those experiences?
Only one time. And it was not that great. Like I was picked on for being heavy like my entire life. And then I've only gotten in one, like a physical altercation, and it wasn't fun. I'm not gonna lie, but like, I don't know.
Well, the reason I asked that is like when you go from someone who like you weren't athletic, so you never really had like gym pain or going to like a football practice or like where you get elbowed in the face or that physical contact, and then you enter the world of professional wrestling. Like what's it like to be in your first match and like a shot land, and now you're like, you seem like the type of person now, if you like, you kind of relish in like, oh, if you have to lay it in type thing. Like how did you become that person if it's something you're not like just kind of reps, just like, oh, getting hit's not that terrible. Like
I don't know, because I just have never been one to be like, oh, that like was too hard.
You can tell when someone in the wrestling ring does not like to legit get hit, and you can tell the ones who are like, yes, like Philly Mike.
Yeah.
Philly Mike is gross. Like Philly Mike, if you don't legit hit him, he gets pissed. Like, and after the match, he'll be like, why didn't you hit me? I'm like, I love that guy.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I think that wrestling it's a physical thing, right? So like I'm big on like I love chops. I love like taking them. I love giving them. I love like when your chest is all just torn up. Like I love that, because it's just like it's very I don't know, like not real, but like you know what I mean? Like
it's like a battle scar. It feels cool.
Yeah, like I love the when wrestling feels like a fight. I don't like when things look loose. You know what I mean? I like things tight. I like things very very close. So I don't know. Like I've never been one, like I've gotten black eyes like in training and stuff, like from elbows, like with grappling and stuff like that. I've never been one to be like, that hurt, like I can't do this. You know what I mean? I've just been it's whatever.
I love that for you. Love that. So a year to the date, gotten some matches under your belt. There is a question here in the chat that I'll ask it now. I wait till a little later on, but I don't want to steal the thunder of this question. But Hunter asked, is there one match that you look back on and wish that you can improve upon or done better? And what match are you so far in your career that you're most proud of?
That's a really good question. I would say my favorite match so far has been the one with Andre at Sanctuary. That one is
it's a great match.
Without a doubt, my favorite match. We beat the hell out of each other, and it was just such an awesome experience. Like behind the scenes of us talking about it and us talking about it after, and like just us in the ring. I feel like our personalities like clashed really good. I'm gonna
let you know a little secret. If you walk in the Sanctuary and you're booked against two people, it's for a reason. It's because we feel that you have potential and that we think you're going to give a really good match. And also, if you shit the bed, we know where you stand as well. Yeah. So if you get a Hawthorne match or an Andre match, it's a test. And you passed it. And you passed it.
Yeah, that match was awesome. And shout out to Andre because he is so sick and he just all of his stuff looks so good all the time and like
so talented.
He's so sick. I don't know if there's like matches that I want to improve upon. I don't know. I feel like when a match like gets messed up or like something doesn't go my way, I feel like I go into the next match with almost like a chip on my shoulder. So like that.
Is there one that maybe you weren't like? Maybe you got a match, like let's say Frankie, you had a match early on like that where you're like, man, if like now that I'm more trained and I know what I know now, I would have a way better experience with that person now that I have a little more under my belt.
This one, now that I'm thinking of it, I wrestled Chris Worthless. I don't know if you know who that is. He's like based out of like upstate New York. I wrestled him in January and like that match was really bad on my end. But I was also like super new, super green. So like, I don't know. I would love to run that one back. There's certain matches that maybe I wouldn't change, but I would love to run back. Chris Worthless is definitely one though.
Yeah. Because is there anyone out there now that you haven't worked that you're like, boy, I would love to either be in a storyline with to get more out of each other, or just even if you got a one-off that would be something you really look forward to.
Yeah, so I would love to have a one-on-one with Junie. That's like one of my best friends. I love that guy, and such a good guy. We've tagged before. We've tagged against each other, and we've done like a 5-man scramble. But I would love to wrestle him one-on-one. Him, Vince Torres, love to wrestle him. We have very similar styles, so I would love to. Travis Huckabee.
That's such a great. I don't know the order in my brain, but he's going to be a guest in the pod. I'm a huge Travis Huckabee fan. I love him to death. More people should be aware of Travis Huckabee.
Absolutely. I will carry the Huckabee flag in the damn battle, bro. He is so awesome, and he like sometimes like we get to train together at the sanctuary, or not sanctuary, excuse me, at the dojo. Like we trained yesterday.
I wish at the sanctuary.
Oh, me too. But when he comes into training at the dojo, I just like there's just certain things he does, and it's just like, damn, dude, like that's a wrestler, dude. Like specifically his European uppercuts. Not to mark out for him or whatever, but he rules. Him
and Matt Makowski were a tag team at High Tension Wrestling, and they were so fun to see as a tag team. Like they were just so good.
Yeah, they just kick ass, dude. Aren't they? They're in a trios with Max Zero too. They're Kingsglaive or whatever. I think is their name.
Max Zero's another one. That guy. Whew. One of the strongest human beings. Like, he's just so strong.
Oh my God. I know. He deadlift like almost package pile driver me. Like he went up and just picked me up like an Atlas stone. And I was like, I've never been manhandled like that in my life. I was like, damn, this is a grown man. A grown ass man is picking me up right now. But no, he's awesome too. Not to spoil anything, and I don't know when this comes out sometime in November, but yeah. I would very much like to work Darius Carter.
Good pick. It's a good pick. If Darius, if you're listening, please answer your DMs. I want you on this podcast so bad.
Dude, I'll tell him on Saturday. We're on the same show again.
Please do. I've been hitting. He agreed to it a while back, and he actually like kind of agreed out of character a little bit too, which is insane because that doesn't happen. But then he just his career just like went nuts. Like he's just getting work because he's talented. He's one of the best in the game right now. Such a fan of him. Yeah, so good. He's the guy that he'll show up at any single place that he works. If you're booked, he's showing up in a 3-piece suit, and he's just the constant.
Oh my God, dude! He came to the Middlesex County Fair. It had to be 100 degrees, 3-piece suit with a scarf.
Yep.
He rules. And let me not get distracted. The last name on the list is Rocket. But now I love that guy, man. I love that guy.
He came in. He came into the sanctuary first time, and they're like, "Oh, Rocket, we're just gonna put him in this match." And I go, "No." No, like what do you mean? Like,
you need to Google him. You are unfamiliar, bro.
And I said, Trotsky's like, is he good? I'm like, you're gonna hope he never leaves after you watch him wrestle.
He's not good. He is great. He is him.
I literally said, enjoy Rocket while you can, because he's gonna be on TV.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, he's so talented. But yeah, and we're lucky enough that I get to call his matches very frequently at the sanctuary. That's I don't get to work at a lot of places here because of my traveling situation, because everything sucks for me. But when people get to the sanctuary and I get to call their matches, I get very excited. And Rocket's one. I'm very fortunate that as a talent that comes and makes art with us at that building. Yeah, so it's a lot of great names there, a lot of fun things. Besides professional wrestling, I know we kind of touched on a little bit. You're into some gaming. You're into that. Is that still a big part of your life? Is that a good way to unwind for you?
Nah, I don't really unwind, dude. I'm kind of an obsessive personality type. So my whole life is just wrestling.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's just full-time gig, and then after after I get out, it's either go to the gym or go to training, and then the weekend is just go to bookings and try to get on cards and just live on the highways, bro. That's it.
Yeah, if you don't make yourself seen at other places, you're not gonna. If you stay in that little bubble, you're not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah, and I've been making it a priority since pretty much the start of the summer, just to get out as much as I can, just try to get out to as many shows as possible. Like, I think that I can get you an exact number. I know I worked after this weekend, it's 6 matches this month. It was 16 last month. It was I think I worked maybe, I want to say 30 matches this summer, I want to say. So it's been nuts, dude. It's really been blowing up. It's really been gaining some traction and all that. So yeah.
Have you been put in a situation yet where you've been part of so a lot of people will just become that match to match type person. Have you been locked into a storyline or a feud yet? Or is that something you really want to maybe do in the future?
No, I haven't really gotten to explore the character in a storyline setting yet. It's really just been just match to match, and I don't know, I really want to do something at Sanctuary. I feel like the production, we could get something really good going, with the ins and outs of the character, because I have a lot of ideas that maybe would go over people's heads on like a low level independent level, like not to like throw shade or anything like that, because it is very like out there avant-garde idea, but I feel like with the technology, the know-how, and the creatives in the sanctuary, I feel like it could definitely be a thing.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing, is getting those stories told, and a lot of people get stuck in that like just show to show deal where it's like, oh, wrestle, which is fine, especially early on. But when you get in those programs where you work maybe 4 or 5 months in a row with the same person and kind of build that story and storytelling, that's a lot of fun. Those are the ones too where people like come back in like 5 years and like, yo, I remember when you worked him and you did a whole storyline and this and this and this, and you're like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. People remember that as part of a story. What are some future plans for you? Like if you had a roadmap or a goal, what are some promotions you want to work or things you want to do in this business, since you're kind of just locked in, full obsession mode to it?
Yeah. The end goal is to work in Japan. That's like the end goal, I think.
The dojo's a good place to go if you want to learn how to do that as well.
Yeah.
That guy's been in Japan a few times.
Yep. I want to do the WXW tournament. Just traveling. I just want to travel a lot. I don't really particularly I'm not particularly dead set on working on American television. That's not really like a I need to, it's never been my dream to work on like WWE or anything like that. But, not saying that I would be like, no, I can't. I have to
thank you.
Travel. No, please. Thank you. But it's never really been like my idea of like what success would be in the business. I really just want to travel. I just really want to see the world, gain some experiences that like I wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
Are you in the car traveling solo most of this time, or do you link up with people? Are you in a little bit of a wrestling caravan, or are you more of a lone guy where you just kind of get in the car and find a place?
I kind of just like bounce around from like driving with these people, because like there's no one place where all my friends work right now, which is very upsetting. So like sometimes it's just like, driving to a show with these people, but I haven't really been making it a habit to drive solo anymore. Mm-hmm. Especially with like just circumstance, like me and my friends getting on the same card or, whatever it is, or just making a habit to drive with people, because those are fun. That's fun.
That's the best, is a car full of people and chatting and talking the whole way up, where the radio doesn't even get turned on because everyone's chatting. What is a friendly, internet friendly story? What is some of your favorite car ride stories, or maybe favorite people to travel with?
Favorite person to travel with is Junie Underwood.
What is it like to be in a car with Junie for a couple hours?
Yeah, there is a lot of laughs, a lot of just talking about just what our ideas for like our characters, like how we would, what the end goal to our characters are. We had like this whole, like, we were probably talking for like 2 hours. We made it almost all the way from Harrisburg to Pennsylvania, talking about like who our characters will be in like 5-10 years.
I think you and Junie would have a really good program together. Like if you and Junie worked the program out, I think that'd be fun. Like a fun,
because we like are fairly close, like in real life. So I think that like bringing some aspects to like, because the best rivalries are amongst friends. Mm-hmm. Like in someone you have like actual history with. Yeah, that always
Claudio and Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, exactly. Like. So like I feel like but like like we were playing this game. He had us playing this one game where it's like each letter you have to like draft a wrestler, or draft like 5 wrestlers, and then like we have to like compare the lists or whatever. And like we were like then, and I was trying to pick just jobbers from like not Attitude Era, but like Ruthless Aggression. Like
Okay.
if it was D, like it would be like Deuce from like Deuce and Domino. But like I wouldn't draft Domino, it would just be Deuce, and just like trying to find like just funny people to like draft, and he would just be like, okay, like here's my list for like S. It would be like Stone Cold, it would be like Sting, and mine would be like, you know, some guy who wrestled like 2 matches on a Raw and like 1 on like Heat.
And Junior's like, who is that?
Yeah, pretty much.
So we'll end here with the last 5 minutes. Let's put some people over. Who are some people at the dojo right now that people aren't aware of, or maybe they're on their come up? Who can you put over? Who could you put on people's radar to say go seek out and see them perform?
I would say I gotta show love, bro. I gotta show love to David Moses, of course, and Sal Mistretta. Those are my damn boys. Those guys have been like working PA shows, New Jersey shows, Maryland shows, and just I'm in a tag team with Dave right now, and Dave and Sal are working like a really good storyline on Captured Lightning. Definitely look into that. It's a show that comes out once a week on YouTube for the Worldwide Dojo. Definitely check that out because they're just have really good matches. They're really good dudes. Some of my best friends. So definitely check those guys out. Big strong men just throwing people around. You love to see it.
Yeah. Where can people find you? How can they support you? Whether it be social media, merchandise?
Yeah. So I have a Pro Wrestling Tees and a Brainbuster store. So my first merch design came out pretty recently. The double-sided Troy Locke Forever shirt. That's on Pro Wrestling Tees. And then just hats, stickers, stuff like that. Fanny pack. That's on Brainbuster Tees. And then
Brainbuster's doing some cool stuff. I've been kind of peeping their website. They got some fun things.
They have some cool options for merch, definitely. Like I don't know. I like sending in designs to Pro Wrestling Tees a little bit more. I feel like the margin for error is like, I guess, like, I don't know, like slimmer, I guess. Like I don't know, because they have to like manually like approve your design, and it takes like a few days. So I just felt like more comfortable doing that on like a t-shirt than I would like on something like a sticker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Brainbuster because they do fanny packs that you can put logos on. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then
I have a fanny pack on my store as well.
And then if you want to follow me on like Instagram or X or anything like that, it's Troy Locke Pro. Kept it very simple, very easy to find. If you want to see me hit very cool suplexes, perhaps, and watch me scream and hit people very hard, then check it out. Maybe a promo or two on the damn socials. Who knows? Who knows what's up there?
Very young in your career, doing very, very good. We're going to close it out here with the final question. Logos by Hunter, sponsored question. Guy's been making great logos for me, helped me out during this time when times were tough and trying to make a buck here and there. And he's been coming out with really cool designs and logo spoofs for me. So hit him up, Logos by Hunter on Instagram and over on the X or Twitter, or whatever you want to call it. But his question we asked everybody is, if you could write a letter to a younger Troy Locke, what would that letter say?
How much younger?
Yeah, you're still young. Let's just say, let's just say when you were in school and you're a little chubby kid getting picked on, and here you are now.
I would just say, just stay patient, dude. It just like it's all gonna make sense. All the turmoil, all the pain is gonna make sense soon. One of these days, dude. Like it's all happening for a reason. That's what I would say.
I agree.
And also start wrestling way sooner, dude. Stop, come on.
Do you wish you would have joined amateur wrestling while you were in school?
Well, my high school didn't have a wrestling team. Yeah, because I went to like a magnet school, like a Votech.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, just I don't know. Just like when you were thinking about being a wrestler, why don't you just like go to the damn gym and become a wrestler instead of just thinking about it? That's what I would say.
Yeah. Stop playing GM mode and get in the gym, right?
Literally, dude. Like I'll never forget this conversation. I know we're running over time. I just want to.
You're good. You're good.
Like, I had this conversation with a teacher where in high school where I was like, they asked me, they were like, "What are you doing?" Because I wasn't taking school very seriously. It's like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And then I said, "Oh, I want to be a professional wrestler." Like just being shitty. And the teacher was like, "How about you find something a little bit more realistic?"
Wow.
And that just like, I don't know, I think about that all the time. And like, it didn't really affect me back then, but it always like kind of stuck in my mind where it's like, I don't know, I don't want to do something realistic. I want to be like, I'm best suited to be on the chase. You know what I mean? Like when I have like a goal that like I'm after, that's when I do my best work. You know what I mean? When I feel like doubt, like when there's doubt on me and like I have to go chase it, I have to go prove something. That's like when I do my best work, man. That's like, and that's also why I don't want to like, if I went back, like I wouldn't change any of the matches the way they happened. Cause like after like a bad match, I usually have a banger match after. Cause like, cause when I'm riding off the high
from adversity.
Yeah, dude, like, because it's just like, dude, I cannot have 2 bad matches in a row. Like, I gotta be the dog, dude. I gotta go crazy. Like, I don't know, man. But,
I cannot wait. I can't wait to retouch this interview in a year or two after, and then just like be like, wow, look at the growth. I can't wait for that for you. You're someone I'm rooting for, man. That's why when people do these interviews and these podcasts, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get this name because I see them out there working and grinding. But it's just like for me, it's like, no, I see something here, and I want to get the early interview so that I can get them back later and be like, yo, remember when?
Bro,
like,
remember when I interviewed him?
Yeah, not even that. Like touch back and be like, come back and do an interview like 2 or 3 years later and be like, remember a year ago, like and just kind of compare the two. I think that's a lot of fun. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited to keep watching you grow and develop as a person and as a talent. I think you've got a lot of stuff locked down that a lot of people in your point in time in your career don't. And I think you're on your way. Just keep grinding. I think you put yourself around the right people. I think you put yourself at the right school. The sky is the limit for you, and I'm excited to see how you grow.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you rooting for me, man. I'm rooting for you as well. I
appreciate that, man. The journey is good when we all work at it together. Everyone,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Make sure you check the links below to support Troy. Hit up his pro wrestling tees and his Brainbusters. Get those fanny packs. Go support. Head over to the Worldwide Dojo on YouTube. Subscribe and watch those weekly things. And you can also see Troy all over the place. Follow him on social media so you can watch those matchups. That's going to do it for the ABJ Podcast, episode 91. Let's play some music by the Converse Kid. We're out of here.